going outside the box. So in this video, I want to express an idea that may generate a sense of awareness that in this present moment we may not get. However, in the potentiality of infinite possibility, we may align within a present time of our lives that we will effectively reunite with, or unite and align with this in this present moment. In this lifetime, we often go about objective, and our lifetime is effectively a sum of frequency, and we're basically moving with frequency. We're perceiving reality, and this reality is existing. However, we don't see frequency. We see the reality, which is frequency, but we perceive reality as we do. But one thing we need to understand is that everything is frequency, everything is energy, and we are energy, we are frequency. And this is crucial to understand, because if we are just frequency and everything which is interacting with us is frequency, then the frequency which we're interacting with will ultimately mold our lives. And this lifetime is effectively just the sum of the reality which we have experienced. Now, this is the magic, is because if we want to experience a certain experience, and that experience requires a certain frequency, then it's not about essentially what we have to do to get to that experience. All we have to do is become the frequency. And this is ultimately the becoming this infinite expression of existence itself, is that all we have to do is use our imagination. We have to use our consciousness to align with the frequency which we want to achieve. Now, we have to understand that this lifetime, it is governed by rules. It's governed but consciousness itself doesn't have rules. Life beyond this, whatever you want to call it, this reality, it doesn't have the rules or the governing principles this reality has. So if we want to connect to a high vibrating force, or whatever you want to call it, or if we want to connect to infinity itself, if we want to connect to this divine existence, or if we want to connect to anything, it doesn't matter. What we have to understand is that in this lifetime, frequency is existence. And depending on what frequency we hold, depending on what frequency we manifest, will ultimately prolay. It will create an existence that is governed by that frequency. So saying this, what do we want in our life? If we want to feel happy, if we want to feel great, if we want to feel joy, love, purpose, truth, all we have to do is imagine that we are already this existence. We are already, because what we will do is that alignment, that imagination, that state of consciousness is all we need to channel that frequency into us. And truth being is that if we just stop for a moment and imagine everything that we naturally already are, However, we're just so programmed and distracted from, we will naturally become that essence who we already are, we're already meant to be. And that's the magic that we're not taught, is that we are already that essence, we are already that frequency, we're just distracted from it. And once we understand that, that's when we can start to use this energy, this frequency to basically, light up the lights in our lives, that we are already this energy, and that what are the distractions in our lives that are trying to take us away and trying to draw our attention from the truth of what we are and why, and learning to be aware of everything which is trying to distract us from what we already are, which is infinite possibility and infinity itself. And that's the magic, is that when we understand that we already are what we want to become, we're just basically told that we have to do everything. And there's a difference, because what I'm talking about and what I'm stating is that within the frequency field of the, for example, if we think that becoming a pilot is going to generate a very good income, and that income is going to generate money and security, and that security and money is going to generate a stable, happy, successful life, then all we really wanted at the start was happiness and stability within happiness. Now, this is how this reality works, is that we may go after this happiness in this way, but what is the security of that happiness coming true? And we all know that this reality is brutal. And we just need, we may be successful and we may achieve this, and this is great. But the truth of that objective was that all we really wanted at the start was happiness. And that is what I'm coming at, is that we are already happy. It doesn't matter how we get to that objective, how we get to happiness, how we get there. All we got to do is get there. And how we get there is imagine that we are already happy. We've just forgotten that, and we're distracted from that, and we feel like we need to do something to experience that, when it's already here, it's already with us. And yeah, all we've got to do is remember that this life is designed to basically make us forget that we naturally are already infinity, and that infinite choice is the thing that can free us, or the thing that can enslave us. Bang.